Have you ever prayed so hard and heard nothing back? You keep doing right, you keep showing up, but it's like heaven went quiet on you. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Did God forget about me? But listen, God's silence doesn't mean absence. Silence is often the sound of strategy. I'm Wilson Mertil, owner of Change Every Outcome. And today I want to talk to the person who feels like God stopped talking. God didn't stop talking. He just started building something in you that words can't explain. Silence is training. When God goes quiet, he's not ignoring you. He's testing your trust. Because faith is not proven in the light, it's proven in the dark. It's easy to believe when you feel him. It's hard when you don't. But that's where faith graduates, from emotion to endurance. Think about it. When a teacher gives you a test, they stop talking. Not because they left the room, but because the test measures what you learn. That's how God works. If he answered your prayers fast, you'd never develop roots. You'd only grow leaves. Leaves look good, but it's the roots that keep you alive when the storm hits. So when heaven gets silent, don't assume you're being punished. Assume you're being prepared. When you can't hear God, you need to look for his patterns. Even when he gets quiet, God always leaves fingerprints. Maybe a door closed, but your peace didn't. Maybe a relationship ended, but you grew stronger. Maybe delay came, but somehow you're still standing. That's not random. That is divine rhythm. Romans 8 verse 28 says, God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love him and are called in his purpose. Not some things, everything. So stop measuring God's faithfulness by how fast things move. Measure it by how he keeps holding you together when everything falls apart. Napoleon Hill said, every adversity, every failure carries with it a seed of equal or greater benefit. So you need to understand that is what silence is. A seed moment. The soil looks still, but roots are growing underground. God builds in private before he reveals in public. Sometimes God hides your progress to protect your process. He's not just preparing the blessing, he's preparing you for the blessing. Look at Joseph. He dreamed of greatness, but his life went in reverse. From favored son to slave to prisoner. It looked like God forgot about him, but God was using the hidden years to make him the kind of man who could handle the palace without losing his peace. Look at David. Anointed to be king, then sent back to sheep. He killed lions and bears in private long before he faced Goliath in public. Those private battles were training for elevation. Sometimes God's silence means you're in training mode. He's sharpening your discipline, refining your humility, and testing you for consistency. Because if you can worship when nothing is happening, you're ready to lead when everything is happening. The delay is not denial, it's development. Most people break down in the delay. They think God ghosted them. But that doesn't mean no. Delay means not yet. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2 verse 3, this vision is for the future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it feels slow in coming, wait patiently, for the time will surely take place. It will not be delayed. That's confirmation that your timing and God's timing are not the same thing. He's not late, he's lining things up. You're praying for the blessing, but he's preparing the structure that can hold it. Sometimes he'll slow your progress because he's building endurance in your spirit. You want the result, but he wants the foundation. If he gave you everything now, you might not have the character to keep it. So while you're crying over the weight, God is saying, I'm not withholding it, I'm reinforcing it. How to respond in silence. This is where most people fold. They get quiet with God because they think that God got quiet with them. Don't do that. This is where you lean in deeper. Here's what you do when you can't hear him. Number one, stay consistent. Pray anyways. Even if all you can say is, Lord, I trust you. Number two, stay grateful. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's moving. Number three, stay clean. Don't fill silence up with noise, social media, gossip, or distractions. Sometimes you can't hear God's voice because the volume of the world is too loud. Number four, stay patient. Every breakthrough has a process, and every process has pressure. Don't run from pressure. Pressure is proof that something powerful is forming inside you. Number five, stay humble. The moment you think you know everything, you block the wisdom you are meant to receive. In silence, humility keeps your heart softened up for God to speak again. When it feels like your world is moving backwards. Have you ever noticed how right before something big happened, it feels like life starts going in reverse? You're making progress, then everything falls apart. You were motivated, then you got hit with fatigue. That's not failure, that's spiritual resistance. The enemy always attacks the hardest right before breakthrough. Because if he can get you to quit before you cross the finish line, you'll never see what was waiting for you on the other side. The Bible says in Galatians 6, verse 9, let's not get tired of doing what's good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. So when it feels like life is moving in reverse, you're probably closer than you think. Keep going, keep believing, keep moving. Because the silence isn't the end, it's the last stretch before sounds of victory starts coming in your life. God's voice isn't always words. Sometimes it's movement. You keep waiting to hear God's voice, but sometimes God doesn't speak with sound. He speaks through circumstances, a door closing, a friend leaving, a shift in your spirit. That's him redirecting you. You wanted a loud yes, but he gave you a quiet no. You wanted explanation, but he gave you peace instead. Peace is proof that God has already spoken. If you feel peace about a move, even if it doesn't make sense, that's God's voice. If you lose peace about something you're forcing, that's God's voice also. Don't chase signs, don't chase stillness, because God doesn't compete with noise. Elijah looked for God in the wind, the fire, and in the earthquake, but God came in a whisper. If you could get quiet long enough to listen, you'll realize he never stopped talking. What to remember in the waiting. When you can't hear him, remember what he said. Don't rewrite your purpose just because your emotions change. God doesn't confuse you, he confirms you. If he gave you a vision, he hasn't forgotten it. He's forming you in the kind of person who can carry it without breaking. Napoleon Hill said, patience, persistence, and perseverance makes unbeatable combination for success. You can't have persistence without silence. That's where you learn to believe when nothing looks believable. That's where faith grows from a word to a lifestyle. If you're still showing up, you're passing the test. Because silence is God's way of asking, will you still trust me when you cannot trace me? Silence is sacred. The greatest transformation happens in quiet seasons. Caterpillars turn into butterflies in silence. Seeds break open in silence. Babies grow in the womb in silence. If creation needs silence to grow, so do you. Don't curse the quiet. Cherish it. This is where your faith becomes real. You just need to trust every second matters to him. How do you know the silence is ending? Here's the beauty of it. When God's silence ends, you won't just hear him, you will recognize him. You will look back and realize that every delay had purpose. Every loss taught wisdom. Every lonely night built strength. And suddenly, the pieces that never made sense start to fit. You'll say, if I hadn't gone through that silence, I will have never heard his voice so clearly now. That's how he works. He hides just long enough for you to find him with your heart, not your mind. And when he speaks again, you don't just listen, you follow. Because the silence made you sensitive. It made you ready. So in closing, if God feels silent right now, don't panic. You're not being ignored. You're being initiated. He's not gone. He's grooming you for greatness. Keep praying, keep sowing, keep walking. Because silence doesn't mean stop, it means strengthen. Isaiah 40, verse 31 says, those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on the wings of eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Your strength is coming back. Your clarity is returning. Your breakthrough is forming. So today, don't let silence break you. Let it build you. Because when it feels like God is silent, he's working on your favor for your good.